Hello everyone, welcome to the workshop here at Rathbone Manor. These are some of the smaller tools that I got from the car boot sale this Sunday just gone. This little fellow here, I forgot he got left in the bag by mistake. It's a little Stanley stubby screwdriver. You see a little number on it there. I used one of these at work. Quite a nice little thing, so when I saw this on my favourite tool stall, I had to have it, so I put that in with the collection. I also got a little footprint wrench copy here from an older couple, and also from my favourite stall, I've got these very nice pair of pliers. These are going to get cleaned up and going into my toolbox, I can tell you. These look really nice. CK they are, made in West Germany. But the subject of today's video is going to be this set of footprint, or this footprint wrench here. It's got a couple of things I like about the old tools. It's marked with either the owner's initials or company initials, I don't know which, and the hook has been modified too. But before we go taking a closer look at this, I think what we ought to do is get it cleaned up, because as you can see it's only very lightly rusted here. I have taken it into work and put it through the parts cleaning tank at work, so I've got, ouch! So I've got some of the rubbish and crap out of it and filth off of it, but it's still got all this rust all over it, so what we'll have to do is just get it in some vinegar, get it cleaned up. Right, let's pour some pre-loved vinegar all over it. Make the workshop smell of vinegar again. Blimey, is it going to cover it all up? That's the question, isn't it? There we go. Cool. Okay then, so here we are, post vinegar soaking. Got a little bit of flash rust on here. Not looking too bad. Right, let's get it on the wire wheel. Okay then, so here we are after the wire brush and polishing, and I think you'll agree we've managed to do a pretty damn good job on it. I mean, it's not mirror finish, but then this video is not about doing super duper mirror finishes on this particular wrench. It's come up quite nicely, as you can see. Okay then, so as you know, it came with this screw here because C.B.W.D had lost the original pivot pin, so what we're going to have to do now is make a new one. Let's take a look at how I did that. I started with some 16mm stainless steel stock. I then reduced the diameter down so that it would fit in the holes in the hook. I then had to reduce 5mm length of this bar down to the relevant size for a 1/4 Whitworth thread. I then checked for correct fitment. Next I selected some nice coarse knurling wheels. After parting off the new pivot pin, I had to face off the edge to make it look nice and neat, and then I decided it would be nice to put a little dimple in the centre of the outside of the pivot pin. As the wrench has C.B.W.D's initials all over it, I thought he might appreciate having them on the pivot pin too. Okay then, so here is this new pin. What do you think of this, guys? So it's made out of 16mm stainless steel stock. Got some very nice knurling on here, very tactile. And as I say, I decided we'll put C.B.W.D's initials on the pivot pin as well. So let's get the old wrench back together again, shall we? There we go. What do you think of that? I think it's come out very nicely indeed. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the footprint wrench, you won't know that they actually have a chisel stroke pry bar stroke screwdriver at this end of the hook. This particular one is a 706 model number, looking at it just there. I do actually have another 706 model number wrench, and it's this one here. So we can take a look at the hooks, and as you can see straight away, the original hook is slightly longer than the one owned by C.B.W.D. C.B.W.D, I wonder what his name was. Maybe Charles, who knows. Anyway, let's take a look at the end, and you can see we have this pointy screwdrivery pry bar chisely tip on the end of it. But what has CB or Charles done with his? Well, he's squared it off, or at least he's had it squared off. Maybe by a blacksmith, maybe he done it himself, because he's actually, whoever did it, as I say, has actually reduced the length by about ½ an inch or so. So they've got this red hot and hammered it back this way and very nicely squared it off, as you can see. Put that one down for a moment. Fattened it out a little bit, and also while it was red hot, they've pressed the initials into it, because as you can see in the handle, it's been stamped. It's not very heavily stamped, as you can see, but look at the difference. So this has been done whilst it's red hot, and you can see some hammer marks in this side. It was obviously done against the anvil on this side because it's nice and flat, so just rough hammering just there. And yeah, so why did he have this done on the end of it, I wonder? Well, my theory is he needed access to certain cabinets or panels with the pipes or whatever he worked on, and rather than carrying an extra key around, he modified the end of his footprint wrench for that very purpose. Some panels, etc., have a little square key like this one you see here, and a lock. So obviously he would go along and insert his modified footprint wrench into it to get into the panel. So obviously he had no use for a chisel point, but yeah, so this is my favourite kind of tool. Not only has it got someone's initials or a company's initials on it, I'm not sure which, but it's also been modified for a very specific reason. I mean, if we had a time machine, we could probably go back in time and meet CB or Charles or whatever his name was and find out why he modified the end of it. Whilst talking to my bro Joe earlier this week, he asked me, will a socket fit on here? And it turns out actually that a 3/8 drive socket will actually fit on. Here I have a ½ inch socket that is 3/8 square drive. It does actually fit on there quite nicely. Obviously it's not going to stay there because it's not got the little dimple you find in the socket drives, but it will actually fit on there quite nicely, look. Now I don't really know if this end has been hardened at all. It could have just been forged into this style just to get all to the keys, as I say, so it probably didn't need to be that hard. But if we put a socket on the end here, it may actually damage the finish here, so I will give it a go on this nut and bolt here, but I won't do it very too hard because I don't want to particularly damage the finish on it, but we'll give it a go anyway. Okay, so the nut is fairly loose, as you can see there. drop the socket onto it. Joe and I think he would have used the footprint wrench like so, as a kind of a T-bar, just to tighten up or loosen a nut or run it on or whatever. Let's give it a tighten. I've got a fair amount of torque going on there, guys. Yeah, it's on there nice and tight. Right, and oh yeah, there we are. Now, has it damaged? So, did the socket damage the end of this hook? Maybe not then. That's good. So it must be harder than I thought it was. This is just the kind of tool that I like to find at the car boot sale. It's got somebody's initials on here. Maybe a company, maybe an individual, don't know. Never find out probably. It's also been modified, which is also something else I like. You know, this has been specifically modified for CB's specific usage. As I say, I think it's to get into panels, so he can get to whatever he's getting to, pipe work or whatever, behind panels without him to carry an extra key along. Or maybe he wasn't supposed to have access to these panels, but it did this on the end so that he could get access without asking other people to get in there, which was probably a pain in the arse for him. Interestingly, this one, I mean, they all rattle a bit, these things. Okay, this one is the first one I've actually got that actually rattles just the handle. Can you hear that? That's the little jaw inserts rattling away. But you can't really feel them moving, and the riveting's not too bad either. But yeah, so that's a first for me. A rattly jaw. I've got quite a collection of these wrenches now, and this is the first one that actually rattles. And obviously, I buy quite a lot of them. They've got the little pivot pin missing, so I have to make my own up. But I thought the previous owner might like his initials in the new pivot pin. And as I say, this is very tactile. This heavy duty knurling I've put on here, it's very nice. I like that. Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed popping over and taking a look at this footprint wrench. And it is a genuine footprint wrench too, because we have the footprint in Made in England just here, the model number 706 I think. Before I cleaned it up, I didn't know if it was a genuine footprint handle, but it is. You can just about see the foot and Made in England there, because CB stamped all over it, which I'm not all that happy about, but what can I do at this period in time? Nothing at all. I'd have stamped it on this side just here really, but you know, what does he care? He doesn't care that I was going to pick it up at a boot sale probably 100 years later, we don't know. But it'd be interesting to jump in a time machine and go back and meet this guy and find out why he needed this particular end on it. Alright then guys, well as I say, you know, thanks for popping over. Thanks for taking a look at this interesting... you can see I've left the history in it, look. So I've left some of the history in it. I've not cleaned it up 100%. It's nice and shiny. And of course, being this old metal as well, back in the day they used nice steel, not like today's recycled and second-rate steel. And I think they've basically used a lot of the good old stuff up out of the ground now. But once you polish these old footprint wrenches up, you can really feel how nice the material is. It's nice and smooth, and it's very tactile. It's very nice indeed, and it's almost get a room at Nash. But yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed popping over and taking a look at this very interesting wrench, and I hope you enjoyed, if you've got any ideas what else you could use this end for, please let me know in the comments down below. But I think it was for accessing cabinets and panels that needed that specific key to get in with, so they could actually get in and get on with his job without having to ask somebody else. You could, as I say, you can use sockets with it. And it also, you can use it on the chuck of the lathe we've got at work, and I'll just throw that bit in at the end of the video here. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at the old wrench here. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If I'm not too busy, I'll try and take a look at them for you and get back to you. But yeah, thanks for watching. So will it fit in the chuck of a lathe? Let's have a look. Yes, it will, and it'll turn it, but I think it's probably a little bit loose. But it will work it. Here it is compared with that chuck key. You can see the profile is quite similar. It's obviously done like that for a reason, so you can get it into several different sizes of, fitting.